Hello, good evening,
Hello.
everyone.
Good evening. Hey, Kevin. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin, and I'm basically a program manager for PTF Foundation. So today we are here. I'm excited to have Nigel as well. Hello, Nigel. How are you doing?
Hey, Kev. I'm good, thank you. And lovely to join you on this Saturday night. It's nice having a little bit more freedom of going out to dine in. But having said that, that's just the freedom of it. I'm actually still having dinners at home.
That's
So
okay. I mean, to be
yeah.
honest, I haven't been out as well, but I mean, I enjoy that. The digital world that we are diving in nowadays. We have spent so much time on internet searching and looking for stuff, right? Also, I found out that there's an interesting topic that's going on like that. It's a lot of sexual health going on like that is, online. People are reaching out to platforms like, website there or even apps to learn sexual health or even to find people to talk to, right? So what's your experience or
Absolutely.
if you have any thoughts on that?
Well, basically, what we're talking about today is sexual health awareness in a digital age. And being that it's Sexual Health Awareness Month, we thought that this would be quite an appropriate topic to chat about. I mean, young people are turning to digital sources for sex and even relationships. People are meeting. I mean, people have been meeting online and the internet since the advent of the internet. And in many ways, it's just another channel. But in many ways, there are challenges with sexuality, education in sex and sexuality. And, there's so many apps now. So, how are people going to learn more about sex and sexuality and how to go about it and navigate this safely? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Kevin, maybe
Absolutely.
what you could do is bring on the guests and we could
Absolutely. I
have a
would
chat
love
with
to
them.
do that. Yeah, and now also just before we move on to that, so everyone who is listening, thank you everyone for joining in today. And we also have some special giveaway at the end of the show. So please just stay tuned.
We do?
And yes, of course we have some gifts tonight. So yeah, that's all. I'll bring some special guests. So I'm going to bring in Kat Condom. I want to say hi to her. Hi, Kat Condom.
Hey,
Hi,
Azrin.
how's it going?
Hi, Azrin.
Cat
How are
condom
you?
has a name.
Hi. How's everyone? Everyone's okay?
We
Well, I
are.
hope
Yes,
We
everyone's
are.
doing okay.
We love it. We
yes.
just
Why
love
don't you
you
tell us a
being
little bit
here.
about ourselves? Why don't you tell us a
So,
little bit about yourself?
so of course, my whole persona, people know me as Kakak Condom, but of course, it's not my registered federal name, of course. My actual name is Ezrin. I'm from Carex, of course, who essentially owns One Condoms, our Grade One Condoms. We are actually the world's largest condom maker. So yes, the world's largest from our own Malaysia.
Yeah. Hey, One Condoms is one of the biggest manufacturers around, and we're very pleased to have you on board today. Kevin, you're muted.
Super excited, super pumped to be here.
Kevin, you're muted.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is keep happening to me. I don't know why I keep unmute myself, right? I just want to say I'm so excited for you to be here, and it's so much that we have
That's
talked
why,
about
lah.
Kakak. It's been ages. So welcome. Thank you, Vidya Kakak, for joining us tonight, and also going to bring out Katini. Hello, Katini. How are you?
Hi,
Hi,
Kakini.
hi
Loving your leopard
Kevin,
print.
hi Nigel, and hi Kak Kondom. Okay, let me just introduce myself. Okay, let me just introduce myself. I'm Kartini Islama, transgender activist, has been working in HIV/AIDS for the past 31 years in Malaysia. Yeah, so now I'm advocating for transgender rights to health, to education, to everything. That's what I'm doing now. So just you can call me Kak Tini or Mama Tini. I'm still young though.
I
I'll call you
love that,
Kartini lah.
Kartini.
I'm not that much younger than you are, so.
Absolutely. I love it. Love that.
But
Love it.
lovely to
Thank you
have
very
you with
much.
us, Kartini.
Yeah, I just want to say that I know Kartini for quite some time now, and the work that she does is amazing. And the story she could tell you, sometimes you just sit down with her and just like sit down there and just write your book. You know what? One day, Kartini, you and I, we're going to sit down and write your memoir and your stories. And also,
Yeah,
we
I'm
also I
thinking
also
about
like
it.
to invite Dr. Ray is joining us tonight as well. So, Dr. Ray, Dr. Ray is from MUC Clinic. Hi, Dr. Ray, how are you doing?
Hi. I'm so sorry.
Hi,
My
Dr.
face
Ray.
can't be seen because I'm at a state where there's no proper Wi-Fi right now. I'm not sure why. I hate myself for it. But anyways, I'm Dr. Ray, and I am from MUC Healthcare. I've been under the clinics for the past 2 years, and I've been working with STD as well as HIV treatment ever since. As well as now, I'm working alongside with yes, I know Kakak Condom as Kakak Condom as how she is there, and I think we're working on a lot of projects together. So yeah, I'm glad to be on board today. So yeah, thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being here. Dr. Ray, which state are you at? Which state are you at?
But I'm in Selangor, but I think which state am I in now? As in,
Yes.
yeah, I'm actually in Shah Alam at the moment, and my
All
district,
right.
yeah.
Are you at a mama stall or something? I'm hearing motorcycles whiz past
Oh,
lah.
I'm inside the car because there's no internet in my house at the moment.
Oh
So
no!
so
Thank
yeah,
you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time and the effort. Oh my God, you have to sit in your car to talk to us.
yeah, because I yeah.
The commitment
Thank
that
you.
Dr. Ray has shown us tonight, oh my goodness. I just want to say thank you very much for joining us tonight and whatever effort that you have put into this. And I want to say that I appreciate everything you have
Thank you.
doing. And just so that people did not know where your clinic is, would you able to perhaps share with us where your clinic is?
My clinic is actually located in Jalan Alo, Bukit Bintang. So it's actually at the heart of Changkat. So it's quite hidden, but I think if you were to search any clinics in Jalan Alo, you'll probably find mine. And we've got other clinics, STD screening centers in Kajang as well as in Labu, and we are currently opening one in Penang. So yeah.
Wow. It seems like Dr. Ray has been very, very busy. And we're just going to say that we are honored to have you here joining us tonight.
Thank you. I feel honored really. Thank you so much for having me on board today.
Thank you. Okay, well, today, as everyone knows, Kevin, shall we get into it?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Well, we're talking about sexual health awareness in a digital age. Perhaps what we could do to begin, before we even get into the questions that we've set up, is just to go around the room and see what our panelists think are the biggest challenges in terms of educating younger people about sexual health in a digital age where, it's pretty much at the touch of a button. You can connect with someone and go have a bit of fun or to connect, right? So maybe we could start. Okay, I'll just go according to my screen. Maybe we could start with Azrin. Azrin, you're right to my right. So I'm going to on the screen. So I'm just going to go with you. Azrin, could you tell us what you think the biggest challenge is for young people learning about sexual health and how to keep themselves safe and healthy?
Well, one of the most basic things that we are really encountering right now is really understanding and really grasping the whole concept behind sexual education. So what we need to understand is at the end of the day, it is education. It's just a different form of education. And one of the things that we actually tend to forget also is a little bit unconventional or non-traditional does not mean that the challenges that we really face right now, especially dealing with our clientele, which is mostly the youth. I mean, anyone that is generally between the ages of 15 to 30. That's the general age that I'm more familiar with. So one of the main challenges is really understanding the need. That is the main problem that we're facing right now, and that is the main issue that the younger generation does not really understand. What is the sole purpose of a condom and how important the use of a condom is really. Yeah, so those are the things that we are really working towards breaking. We're breaking the stigma. We want to really educate people and reasons why you have to use a
Azrin.
condom to STIs from HIV. Am I breaking?
Azrin, yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're breaking up a little bit. And we
Oh
just
gosh,
want to
I'm so
ensure that
sorry.
our audience can hear you properly, which is able to maybe just, yeah, I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Can you guys hear me clearly now?
Okay, much
Better,
better.
but if you could move closer to your microphone, that'd be great.
Am I clearer now? Am I louder now? Because
Better,
I've been
yes,
told my voice
better.
is
Yay,
small.
there we go.
Okay.
And I think it's just the internet maybe
Sorry,
has
I
an
have
issue.
a small
Oh, yeah, full bar.
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's try that
So
again.
yeah. So okay. So essentially, what some of the challenges that we face on ground is really understanding the use and the purpose of a condom. So that really falls in terms of protecting yourselves against
Oh no, Azrin, I think we are losing you as well. I think we are
the
losing
list can really go importance. Okay,
Kakondon. I think we are losing you a little bit. I didn't
am I
hear
still
you
breaking?
quite.
I tell you
Yeah,
what, Kevin, let's just come
Hello?
back to Azrin later.
yes, absolutely.
Someone just message Azrin and tell her that she should try and reconnect maybe
Let me do
on her
that.
Wi-Fi.
Let me
I'm
do
so
that.
Yeah,
sorry.
Azrin, that's okay. Could you try and reconnect and maybe refresh your connection?
Yeah, we really want to hear what you have to say, and that's really important. So we just wanted to make sure that our audience get the everything that you have said, and perhaps we're going to move on. As you might have said, I'll back channel to Adrian, see maybe we can fix this. Thank you.
Okay, what I'm going to do is, from what I've heard, what Azrin says, it's basically the basic use of condoms across the ages of 15 to 30. Basically, there is a challenge in youth outreach, and what she'd like to do is to overcome the stigma of talking about condoms. Tini, let's move on to you for a bit. What do you think is the biggest challenge in terms of sexual health, awareness, and education and safety in this digital age?
Okay. When the Kakak Kondom was talking about the age, it's true. But for me, being a transgender woman and being involved in HIV/AIDS, so when you talk about condom in the what you call with the community, the transgender community, or at large, yeah, the challenges is that a lot of them the same answer like anyone else say buat apa pakai kondom, that kind of thing, like pakai baju hujan. So that was what they normally say. And this message has been passed to, from the older generation to the younger generation. So the younger generation tend to, follow of not using condom. And I think that the challenges was, to reach out to the uh, people at large or the community that I reach is to change the way of approaching them. Yeah, because in the digital era, because sometimes like during the COVID pandemic, so we change the way of reaching out. So it's more using WhatsApp, it's more of using Facebook, it's more of calling them in reaching out. Yeah, so we still give the information. But one thing I've seen, in terms of when you talk about condoms, the condom use among transgender community that I know of and has been reaching out has been quite high among the transgender community. And I think it's because of the frequent outreach that we do in reaching out. So the interesting thing is that, of course, what do you call it? We have to go out, the challenges, one of it is sometimes we have to go out until 2 to 3 o'clock in the early morning to reach out. It's not only during the day but also early morning. So you see, sometimes we transgender use a creative or popular way of reaching out to the transgender community or other MSM community. So to me, like, it's not only that. Sometimes there is still what do you call it, uh, harassment by the authorities. Yeah, in terms of you giving out, because they will ask you what are you doing and so on, giving condoms and so on. So there are the challenges. So when you talk about condom, a lot of people, sometimes they keep the challenges is that a lot of them don't really understand about, they say, oh, pakai kondom senang je lah, letak je kondom. That's what they say. But actually, for me, all this while telling them is not only how to use condom, but sometimes if your partner, the challenges is that a lot of the transgender partner, men or bisexual men or a man in general, how to negotiate or convince them of how, uh, for the guy to use condom. It's not easy. Yeah. So we have to educate to teach them about condom usage and so on, how to negotiate it. So there's a lot of challenges, in reaching out to the community. But then, as we say, transgender do a lot of workshops, session to educate so that they understand how to use condom, how to negotiate condom use, where to get condom, and so on.
Right. Okay. That must be quite challenging in terms of going out and trying to engage minds and change minds. Thanks, Katsini, for doing that. Dr. Ray, what do you think? Because from what I see, condoms are perhaps one of the only, not only, but one of the major tools by which we keep our sexual health safe. So how do we go? Are there any others that you can think of? And what do you believe is the biggest challenge at this point?
Okay. All right. So for me, to be honest, I think Ms. Kartini, your mic needs to be muted because I'm hearing an echo. Is it? Yeah. Okay. So I think one of the biggest challenges that is faced, yes, I do agree. Spreading awareness about condom usage and all that is important. But I think the challenge is the stigma that starts from home itself. Because I think Malaysians, a lot of Malaysian parents, people from home, they have a lot of restrictions, and I think I wouldn't really highlight so much on upbringing, but I think we, with the Asian culture, when it comes to sex and sex education, we always have a little bit of a barrier without cute
A little bit.
I would say yes, because I think there are a lot of parents that might be listening, so I don't want to be very judgmental. But the thing is, I do know. I mean, I personally I come from a family background that also has a lot of stigma and barriers when it comes to talking about sex. You see, later on, what they grow up into, regardless of whether they will be people who are open about sex or whether they're very introvert or they're scared to talk about it, I think the most important thing is the challenge. It starts from home. It starts from how your parents or your guardians at home actually talk about sex to you. I think that is the main key point that a lot of people are facing challenges, because that is the point in their life where it will manifest to become it will manifest their perception about sex and sexual health when they are actually teenagers, and how they look at it.
Yep,
Because as you know,
for
the
sure.
digital platform is wide and people are so easily having accessibility to all kinds of pornography. What they see online is not actually what is a reality, and
Yes.
they feel that if I'm looking at someone having sex like this, so this is a standardized way of having sex. They do not know what reality is, and for them is, I think, that is what is for me the most worrying thing, because I think sex education should start from home, because I think children grow up to look at their parents or guardians as the main examples that they have to follow. So if a kissing scene or a sex scene comes on TV, immediately the parents will tell them, you know what, I think you should just go upstairs or close your eyes. You don't see this. But if there is a scene of
Yeah.
someone getting murdered on TV, they don't do the same for the child. So
No, they don't.
yes, they've always incultivated the fact that, when it comes to this, you don't see it's wrong. But they fail to see the fact that if you put a blockage there, the child is eventually going to find out the answer elsewhere, and that
Yep.
elsewhere platform is going to be very, very contaminated, inaccurate, and you will not know who is giving them that guidance. And I think that is the first step.
Yep.
Eventually, as they grow into teenagers, the curiosity gets more and more, and then, yes, they get exposed to unnecessary risks. And I think, yeah, that is my take on this, definitely.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head where shame is concerned. I think in Malaysia, even in some Western countries, especially the more Christian countries, they tend to deal with sex with a great deal of shame, and it's sort of like, oh, you don't talk about that over the dinner table, that sort of thing. But I think to a large extent, if we can start talking about it over the dinner table, it'll be a lot safer for everyone. The thing is, it is a normal bodily function, and you're absolutely right to say that the reality of a healthy sexual relationship is very, very far removed from what people see in online platforms. For one thing, the size of the market. But the point of thing is, condoms are a large part of sexual health, but they're not the only part, are they? What other things what other things can be spoken about with regard to sexual health, with regard to um, keeping yourself safe? I'm going to open that to the floor.
Actually,
I'm
this is
sorry.
Kevin speaking. Please go ahead, Dr. Dore.
Nigel, could you repeat the last question? Because I lost you there.
The last question is, yeah, it's just that what other methods are there? Because we've spoken about condoms a lot. And of course, we've touched on shame. I think shame is a multi-generational educational process. And it's really about changing hearts and minds. But what other tools do we have to teach people about keeping safe besides condoms? Condoms are huge, and perhaps one of the most widely accessible. But what other tools are there that we can talk about that is accessible to everyone? Dr.
I
Ray.
think the most yeah, I think the most another thing that we also have to emphasize is the importance of actually screening regularly, because I think in terms of, yes, we do wear condoms to prevent STDs, but at the end of the day, most of these STDs are not showing any symptoms. A lot of people walk around with STDs without actually knowing that they have it, you see, and that's how they pass it on. So I think another important way to actually emphasize sexual health and sexual education is to really press on the importance of doing regular screening, to talk with your partner on the importance of screening, to ask them openly on, or to teach them ways to actually open up with your partner and ask them if they've been screened. Because I think when it comes to screening, it is always a hidden under the blanket topic. We don't want to acknowledge it. We don't want to know what's out there, and I don't care, because we only want to live for the moment. And I think a lot of people actually live by that rule, you see, because they just find it fun and they just want to get over it. But what comes after that is, the repercussions, the dangerous parts, the part where they get exposed to all these diseases without actually knowing the complications that can arise from this. So I think another way that we can also cultivate is to a lot of emphasis has to be made on the importance of screening, why they are screening, and also I think in terms of how frequent they should screen, because you see, I've seen people who actually have 80 to 100 partners in a month. Okay, so people like that, of course, need to, screen way more regularly than normal, but then, of course, the regular guidelines say 3 monthly, you need to have a screening. So I think people out there should know, because a lot of patients come in asking me, how often do I actually need to get screened, doctor? Because is it yearly? Is it based on how many partners I change? Is it based on how many partners my partner changes? Or is it just based on me screening when I come and have a symptom? So I think all these questions are out there still lying and floating, and people don't really know what it means to get screened. Most of them actually come when they actually have symptoms, when the infection has already hit them. You see, so I think it's very important
Actually,
to create. Yeah.
yeah, I fairly agree with the screening and to remove the stigma and to get that. But before we go on, since this is out and open to everyone, what are the most common STIs? I think maybe we should just put that out there before. I think Kevin's got a couple of questions for you, Dr. Ray. But what are the most common STIs that are out there? I don't think we've covered that yet.
Okay. So I think one of the most common ones are the ones that don't show any symptoms. Okay, of course, chlamydia is one that is very common. Okay, because I think 80 to 85% of people with chlamydia actually do not have symptoms. So they walk around knowing it, having it, and they pass it around without actually knowing that they have it. And this is more frequent in women. So I think this is common. All right. And of course, second to that, it will be herpes. Herpes is also very common to spread amongst people, type 1 and type 2. A lot of people actually, what they call, they do not know that they have it, because you see, herpes also is passed down from mother to child. Sometimes it's passed through kissing. A lot of people don't know when they have a cold sore and they can actually transmit it. When they have an outburst, they can transmit it. So I think these are the two common ones that I usually face in terms of STDs.
And of course, HIV, which condoms actually are very effective in
Yes,
protecting from, and of course syphilis, which used to be actually quite deadly. But Azrin, I know. I think Kevin's got a couple of questions from the comments.
Yes, I actually have a couple more questions. I try to read out as much context as I could. So we have a question from an audience asking about, I guess, COVID and condoms. And let me see he's trying to put into context. So he's basically asking that if using condom with COVID positive, would it somehow, because I actually try to read a question a few times. I try to make sense of the questions that.
What? Sorry?
How to explain, how to ask the question in the way that he tried to put it. If you use condom with COVID positive, very damaged, right? I'm not sure, is it coming in from because COVID, I think COVID and condoms are very separate topic here. I'm not sure are we thinking about that, or because I'm not getting a question here, but I do have another question from Tan Sue Ann. It's actually coming. What she said is they're coming from Asian families, and she have a question for the panel. Is that do you think peer pressure causes teenagers not to use condoms? And that's open to anyone.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that because you're also breaking up. One, I think I'm reading the comments as well. Suan asking, do you think peer pressure causes teenagers not to use condoms? That's number one. Number two is someone is asking about a correlation between COVID and condoms and whether or not if someone is COVID negative, it's safe to use condoms. Would anyone like to take that?
Well, I'll just interject a bit in what I can help out. Because I'll just start very quick on the whole condom and COVID situation, because ironically, we did receive a question or an email, or can I have sex with somebody with the condom, even though she or he could be potentially COVID positive. So we always advise, what we advised was that COVID is passed on through, number one, of course, the whole reason why we have the SOPs in place is because there are different variants of COVID, right? So COVID, you can actually pass on COVID just being close to someone, if someone sneezes, someone coughs, or potentially touching someone. But the usage of condoms is basically to protect you from bodily fluids, like,
lymphatic fluids.
Yeah, generally, yeah. So, of course, there have been no studies that I'm aware of that could but we do not advise you, generally speaking, if someone is suspected to be COVID positive, you should be staying away from that person. That person should really get tested.
And don't get too close, right?
Exactly, don't get too close. So this is the one time where condoms may not be able to save you from COVID, because that's a whole different
it might save your dick from COVID. The rest of you, I don't know.
If someone's suspected of having COVID, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is actually, it's not even a weird question, because we did receive this question about a month ago, like from our Instagram or Facebook. I think it was about a month ago, and then we thought,
look, I mean,
okay.
As Kak Tini was saying, okay, condoms are like pakai baju hujan, like a raincoat. So obviously it puts up into it logically puts into someone's mind, okay, if I wear that, I'm protected from anything. And in actual fact, COVID doesn't work that way. COVID COVID is transmitted differently. And what I think condoms are meant to do is to protect you from actually absorbing any lymphatic fluid, seminal blood, that sort of thing. So to answer that question, if the person is suspected COVID positive, please don't go near them. Wait until they're fine, okay? Hold yourself back. The second question was peer pressure.
Yes. Do you think that peer pressure causes teenagers not to use condom? I think this is going to be a very interesting question for all.
Pressure is part of it generally, because when we conduct workshops with the universities, with students in general, we do get many questions, and this is actually not the first time it's been thrown our way. So condoms, again, peer pressure is part of it. If you use condoms, you're not really, you're doubted to be, you're not cool if you use a condom or things like that. Or you're not cool because
Oh dear. Kevin, your mic is also off. Ashrin, you broke up again.
You broke up again. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Today is a bit of a challenging show, but that's
now?
okay. We'll plow on.
Yeah, you're still breaking up. We couldn't hear you.
Oh no! Am I still breaking up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear Kakak
Get it out there.
Okay, so very quickly, peer pressure is part of it, but on top of peer pressure, there's also the misconception of the feeling of condoms and all that. There's a whole chunk of myths surrounding condom, which includes, sensation. It means that, if I wear a condom, I can't feel anything. That's not true. Another thing is very, very common thing that people go by is, I'm too big for a condom. No one is too big for a condom, trust me, because our condoms are big enough to sustain about 30 gallons of water. So if you are bigger than 30 gallons of water, I suggest you get checked,
Yeah, I mean, I've actually put a condom onto my arm before, and my arm's not that small.
I think we are losing Kakak condom again. Oh no.
Yeah.
A whole different situation.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the size of my arm is not that small. We're not talking anything else. Yes.
Yeah, I think we're definitely losing Kakak condom. Actually, I have something to chime in on that peer pressure thing. I think through my experience and my work, sorry, I think we're losing Kakak condom there. Is she back? She's not back yet. She's not back. So yeah, I just want to explore a little bit on that peer pressure from that we sometimes if we continue asking, like if that person's not using it, the person that you were with or whatnot, and then are you being pressured not to use it? And then, but are we often easily being pressured by others people or influenced by other people not to do or not to use condom because the other person not to say because I don't want to? And how is it then for those individuals to learn and to understand themselves that sexual health is for their own protection, it's not for other people's protection, right? So how do we engage or share the information to them so that they can actually understand?
Yeah.
And this question is actually open for all.
Tini, I think that's a good question. Tini, that's a good question for you because you mentioned just now, you're like saying the older transgenders actually pass on this whole attitude of pakai baju hujan to the younger. So to me, that's actually what do you call that? It's in a way, it's a bit of peer pressure and mentorship. So how do you get around that? Obviously, peer pressure exists. Scott, you're muted.
Okay, as I said earlier, it's really challenging, especially trying to create awareness, talking about condom usage, even with the transgender community or even at large. Yeah. So the thing is that, of course, you have to explain to them the difference of if you use condom, this is what you get. If you don't use condom, this is what you get. Yeah, we have to explain to them. And if we say that, if you don't use condom, if you are infected with HIV or other STI, and if you go to private clinic, it will cost you this much. So I think which one do you choose? So we have to give them a few options. For me, when you are talking earlier about COVID and condom, of course, in reality, especially talking about certain communities, if the soul of surviving is on sex work, who are we to tell don't do sex work, right? So
Yep.
what I do with them is, of course, as I said, follow the SOP. Always sanitize your room or after you take the client, and of course, condom must be used 100%. There's two different things here. One is about condom usage. One is about COVID. Of course, that is why this is a dilemma for every people who are involved in sex work, whether to take clients or not. But as we say, that is why we need to give them at least few options. Yeah, you can still do, or if not, like nowadays when you talk about digital era, you can do safe sex. Yeah, that is via what you call, you can do safe sex. By phone calls or video calls or
Phone sex,
whatsoever.
video
It's safe.
sex, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's safe. That is one. Yeah. So the other thing is that if you are physically you meet, and of course you still need to wash, sanitize your hand and everything. But because sometimes we don't know whether your partner is positive of COVID or not, unless they go for a test. Same as when you talk about condom usage, whether that person is infected with HIV or not. So in order to tackle that, it's best to use condom. So sometimes it's not easy, to educate them, because a lot of them will think, a lot of men doesn't want to use condom. They rather pay more and ask me to use not using condom. That is what they say. But that's why I say, which do you
Wow.
choose? Yeah, that is what. Which one do you choose? Do you choose your health, or do you choose money? This is a lot of things. But then that's why, as I say, the thing has changed a lot. So when you talk about peer pressure, of course there is, because when you talk about survival, so a lot of them, I have to do it. If I don't earn anything this night, so I got makan telur. So, but then in order to tackle that, so you have to educate them about, for example, how do you negotiate with a partner who doesn't want to use condom in a non-threatening manner. So the approach was explained to the client themselves. So they are the educator themselves, a part of us who are reaching out, educating them, and they are educating the client themselves. So it takes times, because we say that the health is your responsibilities. You need to educate. So it takes time
Your
for
own health
people to
is your responsibility.
yes. You need to, it takes times. It's not easy, because like what Dr. Ray have said earlier, education start at home. That is ideal. If we talk about that, in reality, no parents will talk about sex with their son or daughter. That's the reality. It's a taboo. Yeah. What to say? Talk about condom. Oh my gosh. The way of upbringing, like a Malays and so on, or even other conservative Christian, they won't talk about it, right?
You're absolutely right.
So that is the
Yeah.
challenge again. So that is why a lot of
Yeah.
15 years old to what age, they go and Google, or they go somewhere, or they got info from their friends. Sometimes it's correct, sometimes it's not. But most of the time is what you call incorrect info without facts. You see? So that is the thing. When you talk about that, what I've seen is that it's not starting at home. Sometimes, they all go to school. Sex education, sex education, even in school, should be taught at the children's age of 15 or 12 above. But of course,
I agree.
it should be adapt and tailored to the age of the children. You can't directly and tell them,
I agree.
this is condom. That is the thing. So we need to do something to educate them, because sometimes parents trust the teachers. So because sometimes teachers or the parent themselves feel uncomfortable even to talk about penis or dick or pussy or vaginal.
Okay.
It's
Even
so
I
sensitive.
still laugh.
Yeah, it's so sensitive,
Yeah, I
right?
know. I totally get you. Yeah.
So
But
until today,
I'm gonna push back here and say, the age-old argument, especially amongst the conservatives, if you teach sex education to such young children, they are going to want to go out and do it and then get pregnant earlier, because that's Always. They always say that. I've heard it said so many times. So what do you guys
Yeah.
say to that?
I agree with what you said.
What do you guys say to that? Maybe you could respond to that. That kids actually go out earlier and have sex if they know what it's about. So have to keep the information from them.
Yeah, so I sort of add in a little bit, since it's actually coming from my experience, right? So I am sort of the generation X, I would call it, right? Generation X, right? So I'm in sort of in the between the emerging digital world and sort of that book lead, like, you know, with the time when I was like, there's no internet, there's no nothing, right? So I learned absolutely zero. Sexual health was non-existent until, I don't know, when I was 20 something, until I actually leave Malaysia and I actually go to other country, then I get to learn about sexual health so openly. The other country actually allow, there's information on television about condoms, about lubrication, and just open publicly. And I was shocked. I was culturally shocked. I was like, what am I looking at this? Like, I was a little bit giggling because I was a little bit shy seeing things like that on television. Then but then I get to learn about that. You know, all these informations are necessary, but then it's how we ourselves interpret it, right? So back then, I get to learn nothing. So all I see is mostly the community, what they are teaching or like parents, the relationship of your parents, and that became my relationship in my life, because I'm still kind of dealing with that sort of setback from what I've learned from them. So I just want to say that I completely agree with what Tatiana said, you know. So just want to feedback on that, and just also my personal experience. Say sometimes we don't get enough chances to learn about sexual health, and therefore we often make a lot of mistakes, and by not being able to learn. So I'm just basically standing up to tell everyone that, you know, I've got my first test of my 35, and everyone was asking, what, 35? Like, well, like, what happened before that? And I was like, well, it's not that I'm too afraid to test. It's because I don't know nothing about testing. I don't know anything about STD, nothing about sexual health, nothing about getting condom, using it. You know, like, it's just basically, it is what it is. It's what we see, right, from your parents. So you learn that from your grandparents. You learn that from your community. So who, if it's not there to teach us, where else can we learn it from? So we resorted to porn site. We resorted to Tumblr. There used to be Tumblr. That everything you throw it to a community of gay, they're gonna turn into sex, right? I'm just saying the fact. Like, everything, any kind of site, any kind of new thing you throw into community of gay is going to turn into sex. So how can we not look into that? How can we add a much better education and a much more, we'll say that, open topic about this?
You know, Nigel, can I just, you see, a lot of parents nowadays always say, oh, it's bad, don't do it. You see, that is what the parent used to say. But they never tell the children why you should not do that. The reason is, should there be a reason? They should explain it. But they don't, you see. Jangan buat.
I agree.
Haram. Tak betul. Salah. You know, this is agama. All that kind of things. So to me, like, well, then why don't you teach your children, if you can't do it, the reason why you don't allow her to do it is this. If it's a woman, you know, adakah you nak mengandung sebelum you nikah, you know, or whatever, you know, you need to explain to them in their own way, because they always play the role of a parent but never play a role as a friend. That is a problem. And of course, they don't feel comfortable talking about sex, talking about even what called menstrual period. They are not comfortable talking to their daughter. So what talking about sex? So these are the things, you know. So even my experience, if you ask me, in the early days, I know about what you call sex in the beginning, or I know about condom in the early days in 1986 when I joined Pink Triangle as a volunteer. on counseling hotline. So, but at that time, when you talk about, condom, why do you use condom? I think transgender is a woman, so they don't need. It's only homosexuals. You see, that was a time. They always relate it to gay man. But of course, they say it's homosexual, and transgender is under the umbrella of homosexual at that time. So the more I learn about HIV, the more I learn about condom, and so on. And of course, at that time, only I know about the difference, because like now we are talking about condom, but we don't talk about lubricant. In my early days,
well, that's the next question.
yeah. So that's the thing. A lot of us, we transgender, of course, in the beginning of the earlier time, as long as oily, just use it. You see?
Vaseline, lotion, baby oil.
Yes. But that is why when we educate them, we teach them, we blow condom, we rub what you call oil base on the condom, and then you use what you call water base, so they can see the difference. Sometimes you need to educate them. Sometimes they believe you when they see it. So educating is the way of you how what we call it, the popular culture of educating. So like we transgender, of course, we change the way of approaching, of educating the transgender. But still, as I say, even till today, still there are some transgender with clients, they will use condom, but with boyfriend or so-called husband, they will not. So we still continue to say, to educate them and so on. The best is to use condom because you doesn't know. If your boyfriend is a married guy, then what? And you doesn't know whether you also doesn't know that you are in whether you are infected with STI or HIV. We don't know because you don't go for a test. So we keep on. These are the things as well.
Yep.
So these are the things.
From what I understand, condoms prevent HIV and most other STIs like chlamydia, like syphilis, etc. Any sort of genital STIs, condoms can actually protect you against those. On another level, we've got PrEP, which obviously protects you. PrEP is newer. Unfortunately, Dr. Ray is not here, so I'm just going to fill in what I know about PrEP, and then we will go on to the next question about lubricants and stuff like that. So basically, the next thing is PrEP is a medication that is now available, which actually acts like it's a medicated condom in a way. You eat it and then it prevents you from getting HIV, but it only prevents you from getting HIV.
Yes.
So PrEP is great, but if you use PrEP and a condom, okay, oh my God, that's like wearing knight in shining armor. You cannot touch me already. So pretty much, I think PrEP needs an honorable mention. Now, the next question is condoms and lubricants, the relationship. Why do they go together? Azrin, perhaps you could go into that. Dini, I would love your follow-up on that as well with regard to, because you brought it up and you mentioned it with transgender. So, condoms and lubrication. Azrin.
So, of course, the general condoms are the majority of condoms are made out of natural latex. So, of course, lubricants are complementary to condoms, of course. So, for condoms, there are only two types of lubricants which only work with condoms. I'm not going to say work well because that would mean there are other types of lubricants that work around, but there are only two types of lubricants that work with natural latex condoms. One is a water-based lubricant, which is what you can generally find, in pharmacies, in hypermarkets and whatnot, in supermarkets.
The oldest one is, of course, KY lah.
Yes, that is one of the oldest ones. That is the KY that everyone knows.
I understand one condom makes some lubricants as well under brand names. Which brand names are there?
One condoms, we have our own line of lubricants. So we have the Oasis-based lubricant, which is water-based, and we have another type of lubricant which is called Move, which is silicone-based lubricants. So yeah, that's the one Kevin's holding up. That's our very.
Kevin, are you wearing pants? Is that why you had it so quick?
So the one that Kevin's
Yes,
holding up
sorry.
is our very, very.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
It's
do a promotion shout out to Azrain. That condoms.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that one is our silicone-based lubricant. Very, very popular. Very, very in demand. It's one of the first.
Ooh.
Yeah, in Malaysia, we're one of the first ones, if not the first silicone-based lubricant in the country. So you can find them in our pharmacies and whatnot. So the reason why only water-based and silicone-based lubricants can go with condoms is because they do not corrode the latex. So other types of so-called lubricants or oils, as Kartini was saying earlier, oils
Mineral oils
like,
in particular.
yeah, mineral oils, anything that's petroleum based does not go well with the condoms because it corrodes the latex. So anything petroleum based.
What do you mean by corrode?
What I mean by corrode is it actually eats into the latex, so it causes it to tear. So it causes that friction to a bit more kasar, and then it breaks, it tears, and then that's it. So no Vaseline, even though Vaseline feels very smooth and everything on your skin. No Vaseline, no oil based, so no baby oil and whatnot. It literally corrodes the latex. It eats it up and it's great. And no minyak masak, no vegetarian oil, no olive oil, nothing. If you can use it in the kitchen, you cannot use it on your body. Just keep it that way, okay? So no.
Janganlah pergi goreng pisang and then after that you goreng your pisang.
Yeah, just want to point out. You are not food. You don't oil grease yourself to ready to be cooked, right? So there are things that are there for a reason. So you're not kitchen appliances.
Yeah. So one question that I received during one of our workshops before was this student asked, can we actually use minyak hitam? Because somebody
Minyak what?
Minyak hitam during intercourse. Yeah, minyak hitam, the one that we use
you
for
mean
our
the car lubricant?
Yeah.
Or car oil.
The diesel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Black oil. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So the reason why I highlighted because it was an active discussion while I was speaking at one of the universities in the rural areas. It was outside of Klang Valley. So this girl, she actually approached me and asked, is minyak hitam suitable for condoms? I said, no, of course not. That is, it's minyak hitam is for the car. And their logic was on the bottle of the car lubricant, it actually says that lubricant. But we would actually think logically, there's a picture of a car, it says that car lubricant, minyak hitam, you would generally have an idea. But I suppose it's one of those things that we actually take for granted, and they actually interpret it as, oh, you can use this for the car as well. You can also use this for other things. So I had to tell her, yeah, it's one of those things that for us, I suppose we would expect, people to have a better understanding or better idea of, what you can and cannot use. But I suppose in those rural areas, to them, it's just like, oh, it says that lubricant, can lah. But it's a whole different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing altogether. So again, for condoms, only water-based lubricant or silicone-based lubricant. So of course, the difference between water-based and silicone-based is silicone tahans a bit longer lah because it doesn't dry up because of the compound molecules and whatnot. So of course, silicone-based lubricants, the one that Kevin put up, that is fantastic for if you wanna, you just put a little bit, you're good to go the whole night. So.
Adding to adding to what Azrin has, Kakak Kondom has said, you see, sometimes when you talk about condom use and lubricant, right? You know, a lot of feedback that I got, kalau kita pakai kondom dengan KY, cepat kering.
Yeah.
That is what they say
Water
lah.
based.
Yeah, the water base. But sometimes actually, this is what we say. Kalau you dalam bilik, you buka kipas angin kuat-kuat, of course it's dry. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's dry, right? So that's why we say, kalau main, tutup kipas angin tu atau kecilkan sikit. You see? Yeah, that's true.
Wait. So are you saying that we should choose a room temperature to have sex in?
When you are having sex, you are putting rubbing or what you call. Sometimes they put a condom on and they rub the KY on it, right? So of course, when they are when they already do it, and of course, you know, because the kipas angin, because their badan panas, that thing keep drying also very fast. So, but I teach the community, the sex workers community or transgender, you know, in order, if you want it to be fast, what you do is that put the lubricant in the condom and then you roll it down. This will make it fast. Even you took a condom outside, yeah. You know, when
So
you
you
put
say
the
that
condom, right?
put the lubrication on both ends.
Yeah, put the condom in, the lubricant in the condom, yeah, because when they fuck, sorry to use that word, you know, the tips of the head of the dick will kena the lubricant is slippery. This will make it come fast. You see, you have to understand that is why sometimes
Feels
when
nice lah.
yeah, it make nicer.
Feels good. Feels good.
Yeah, because they say that using condom is not nice, right? So I have to teach the other way by make it smoothly. That's the reality. So that's why sometimes being in this work, not only you talk about, you know, the good of using condom, how to use it correctly and so on. Because sometimes a lot of people doesn't know how to use condom, yeah, correctly. So you need to say that you can't use this, what you call oil base, even it's smooth, but then it will make the condom thinner when you have your sex, you know, because in of course lah, panas lah, dah boleh pecah lah. So you see, sometimes you just cannot say you just give the condom, that's it. No, you have to educate them.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes when you talk about giving condom, a lot of people say, because sometimes condom can be used, yeah, not only putting it on, you can use many ways of using condom by rolling down the condom on your tongue, that is rimming. You can use condom. Yeah. A lot of people doesn't know that I teach the sex workers, I teach transgender. If they are your customer like to do rimming, or you know, why don't you ask them to roll the condom down with their tongue? It's safe for them and it's safe for you. You know, but and again, a lot of people know Dentadam is so expensive. Then you talk about condom, right? Dentadam is expensive. Why don't you cut that condom and make it a sheet? You can do it. That is condom. Condom is a multi-purpose use. But a lot of people is just saying, okay, you use this. That's it. But that's
just don't reuse lah. You can use it once and then after that, but you can use it different ways lah. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why even condom, as you said, if you see the Japanese condom, which is on the what you call, can you put here small one? They have a use for it. That is a small condom in Japan. Yeah, that's the reality. The Malaysian condom is a good quality, but you know sometimes people doesn't know, you know, of explaining and how to use it and so on. So that is why sometimes condom is not just protecting from HIV, but also pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy, you know, STIs and so on. So that is the thing we need to explain to them. Sometimes the good thing is that when you show STI slides, you know, so sometimes it's scary, but it's good. You know, it's not a tactic to scare them, but that is the reality of it. Because sometimes when they see it, then they feel scared. So that is why the importance of why you need to use condoms. So that is why sometimes, you know, when you talk to sex workers, because sometimes if we transgender, they're very good in negotiating. But for women, they're not good in negotiating condoms with their client. You see?
Good.
So that is why I have to educate them. How do you negotiate? What do you say? How do you talk with your client if your client doesn't want to use condom? It's not the matter of whether you are sex work or not. It's just if your partner doesn't want to use condom, so what do you tell or what should you say to him? Should be a communication, you know?
Could you
and
give me an example of how you teach someone to negotiate the use of condoms? Maybe both of you can do that. Kartini from a transgendered point of view, and Azrin maybe from a heteronormative, heterosexual point of view. How do you negotiate with a partner who doesn't want to use a condom? Azrin, maybe you could start with that.
Well, first things first is, of course, someone, you know, when you're about to engage with in intercourse, you know, it could be your partner, it could be a new partner, or whatever it may be. The most important thing is, number one, is you need to realize that it's something that you yourself want to do. You know, it's something that you have, you yourself are willing to do, right? That's number one. And number two is, of course, you need to be aware of what you're about to do, because because whenever I engage with the younger crowd, with the university students, we do get a few people who says that, oh, you know, how do I know, how do I know what I've done is right or what I've done is wrong? So we always have to tell them, you have to know your rights. Number one, you have to know your rights. This is actually something that you want to do, something that you are aware of.
That is so on, because I never thought of that.
Sorry?
I never thought of that. You have to know that you want to use it and you're right about using it.
Yes, that is the most important thing. You have to know that it's your right to really, you want to use a condom, or you want your partner to use a condom, because then it means that there's a mutually respective relationship. You know, that this person is aware of what actions might happen next, right? So you have to know that, okay, I want to use a condom because I'm not ready for an unplanned pregnancy. I want to use a condom because I want to protect myself and yourself in this relationship that we're about to go into. So it has to come to that conversation and that understanding between two people. So that is actually very, very important. That's why we have this whole movement right now with the whole women empowerment thing, because it empowers you to speak out, to really say, no, I want to use a condom because I'm not ready for me to have a baby when I'm 16, 17, or maybe, even if you're 25, 26, if you're not ready to have a baby, you have to have that right. And you have your right to say, no, I want to use a condom. Otherwise, then it becomes a whole different story altogether.
So basically, using a condom is about the right to say no.
Yeah.
Okay. Tini, maybe you can give us an instance of how you educate transgenders about usage of condoms and how to negotiate that especially with sex workers, with their clients.
You see, following up from what Azrin says, if you're talking about your partner, there must be a communication. I agree with that. Yeah. But in reality, sometimes, when you have a partner or one of kind of partner, one night partner, or you are a sex worker, we have a client, sometimes that will, lose the mood. So I think that normally they lose the mood straight away if you're talking about it. So, but then personally, my experience, I will tell to the customer, if you want me and you still want insist of having sex with me, you must use condom. If you don't, then I won't take you. You see, because there are
the right to say no, basically.
Yes, you have to be in control. But that is one of the options. But if not, then we can say kalau katalah abang selalu keluar cepat, by using condom lama sikit. Yeah, because you keep on telling me you cepat keluar air. So by using condom mungkin lama. So don't you like it? You see, it's how you approach. Because sometimes, when you are doing sex work, is to understand. Normally, clients will ask you what you can do, and of course, you want to protect yourself, right? So, and you also want to protect your clients. So it's the matter of how, nice word. This is the trick. In the sex industries, you must know the trick of how to convince your client in many
Yeah.
ways, in many positions. So sometimes they like
It's
it.
not just
They
in
like
sex work,
yeah,
in
they like
any
fantasies.
business.
Yeah, they like
In
fantasies. That is
any business.
yeah, because a lot of married men, they will like it. They like to fantasize because they can't do it to their wife. And we know if they are married already, so we tell them, why don't you protect yourself? And I want to protect myself. But I can do you with many style in a safe way. They like it. They like the ideas or their fantasies because they watch and they Google all these porno movies and so on. They like to do it because they can't do it with a wife.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. So I
Okay.
think
Well,
so. I think only
that's
Kevin. One last word from
amazing.
me.
I mean, the amazing. You guys do such amazing work. But I think Kevin has a question for Azrin. Is that correct?
Well, actually, I just wanted to chime in on the what Katini says and what Kodon has said. I think for my experience really about like people that took the courage to come up and getting tested, and then sometimes I celebrate it. I celebrate the first thing is that they actually take charge of their health, right? And then they became surprised. They were like, why is people celebrating me? Wanted to take charge of my own health. Wanted to request for condoms and lubrication on my way out. Why is people celebrating? Why are we doing this? You know what I mean? And I find that often that they felt like they are often being pressured into sex act, whether they wanted to or not. Meaning that like if they are from your partner, if they're in a relationship, how do you negotiate that what you want and then comparing to the person that you are with and what they want. So I just want to throw a question out there. Is that like how do you negotiate in that instance? But I also got a question for Azrin later for the price tonight as well. So if anyone wanted to chime in on that, what I've seen is that people doesn't seem to understand that consensus is important. Like that you anybody, man or woman, right, can say no um, to any circumstances uh, before or during. Even during, if you don't want, if someone's just like, oh, I pull out, I'm not interested. And I can say the same thing too. I can say like, sorry, I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to continue. Let's just stop from here, right? But I often see that it's a lot of people being pressured into it, right? It just continues. It's just, you know what I mean? Like how. I just want to put a message out there, and also that you are, everyone has your own right. Sexual health is also your right to practice in a way that that is for you, right? You have the ultimate decision, ultimate power to decide for yourself what it is that's safe for you. And if your partners are not wanted to use it, like what Katina said, then we have to call it off. So sorry, like even though it's halfway, like sex is magical, but sex shouldn't be the secret. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so does anyone want to chime in on
Okay,
that?
so your point was basically that people have the right to say no.
Absolutely. Before or
Okay.
during. Okay, before and
Before,
during.
during, yep. Okay.
I mean, after you can't say no after because it's finished.
Before and during lah. Okay.
Yeah, before and
Well,
during you can't say after.
I thoroughly agree. But You know, I think to wrap up, because it's already 1 hour 15 minutes, correct?
Yes.
A couple of things. I think we're all agreed that education is huge. But do digital spaces present an opportunity to reach more kids? Is there a movement out there that is going to use that wants to use the digital space more engagingly to be able to provide sexual education to the risk groups? Starting from wherever, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, even go and have sex with anyone, basically, there is a risk. You're taking a risk. So is there a movement to use these digital apps, these spaces, to go and educate people? Azrin?
So I super like this question, Nigel. I super like it. So well, okay, just to tap on, that is the whole persona, the whole profile and background of Kakak Condom actually, is for us to utilize the digital platform, which has never been done before. So how we came about with Kakak Condom was, I've always been the only one I have a team, and we actually go out to universities, we go out to colleges, and we have.
I met you at UM. I met you at UM at the first, but that's MAF, Malaysian AIDS Foundation run.
Yeah. So
I wasn't running that.
So yeah, when we curate all these workshops, we make sure that our workshops are designed and uniquely curated to our audience. So whenever we have workshops for high school students or for college students, they're all differently approached based on what they are familiar with at that point in time. So I have done workshops with PDRM, I've done workshops with corporations, I've done workshops with university students. So they're all of our workshops are created specially for our audience at that point in time. So because it was such a small movement that we tried a couple of years ago, but it grew so fast, so fast and so big so quickly. That's how they came about with Kakak Condom, because they would see my face on their campus. One day I'll be speaking to the English department, tomorrow I'll come back to the same university, I'll be speaking to the engineering department. People started recognizing my face, and every time they would see me, they know, oh, this woman, she has condoms. So they would just approach me, they'd be like, Kak, you ada condom tak? You ada condom tak? So sometimes I'll be like, yeah, in my car. Obviously, I can't be lugging around a bag full of condoms, right? It's just me walking around the campus. So I'll be like, yeah, it's at my car. They'll be like, oh, you park dekat mana, nanti I come and see you. So I look like some weirdo with condoms in the car. And they would come up to me, they'll be like, oh, can you come and speak to our, we have an extra class next week kind of thing. So it came from a word of mouth, really, and that's how it came up with the persona of Kakak Condom, because I would bump into these kids at the mall. Sometimes I'm out with my my cousins and my friends, and they're like, hey, you're the condom lady. I'm like, yeah. Keep on walking. I don't have any condoms now. Keep on walking. I'm not working now. So that is how, and that's how and why we want to really use the digital platform that we have right now, which is how we came up with the whole Kakak Condom persona. That's how we created videos, educational, Condom 101 short mini series with the Malaysian AIDS Foundation. So we are using the digital platform. It's taking time, slowly but surely. It's been a bit of an adventure, a bit of mixed responses here and there, but no one's doing it. And like we said, with COVID and everything that's happened, it has really used more of our digital assets, our digital platforms, which is what we're doing. Even with you guys, we're doing the same thing right now. So we're utilizing our digital assets.
I'm curious. Number one, how did the PDRM respond to your condom talk? That's number one. Number two is, do you get a lot of pushback from, let's say, more conservative groups with regard to your message and being out there? I mean, you're recognized now.
I'm recognized as the lady who always has condoms. So I was walking in the mall and a group of them they were like, "You're the kakak with the condom." I'm like, yeah. Just move along. I don't have any condoms with me right now. But I really love the interaction with the students. It really means that we're reaching out, even though it's a little bit, but it changes. Even if I reach out to one student, it makes a whole lot of difference. So I really love the interactions with the students. The energy that they bring is just something else,
Well, what about the police? I want to know what our boys in blue. What?
So I actually ran a workshop that was requested by the police. Actually, they called us in to actually run a workshop for some of their officers, special task force actually, and of course there was a bit of a shy. Everyone was a bit shy at first because these are people who are potentially much older than me. Some of them could be as old.
Officers,
Yeah, exactly. So you could see some of the men, they were a bit shy at first, but they loosened up eventually. Some of the women, the police officers, the police women, they were fantastic. They were asking so many questions. And it just made the barriers. So many questions that even as police officers, as human beings, everyone has questions. But unfortunately, we don't have a comprehensive sexual education syllabus in Malaysia. So,
and we don't have the spaces to talk about this.
Exactly. So it became a safe space for everyone to eventually ask all the questions they wanted to ask, and some of the questions they asked, it was quite intense, it was quite deep. But I told them, there's no such thing as.
Oh no.
Oh no, I think you're losing that condom. Oh no.
Okay, while we're waiting for Azrin to come back, Didi, why don't you wrap up with a few words about what you want to say with regard to, condom usage, sexual health, digital spaces, and transgenders? Sorry, Azrin, you broke up. I'm going to let Didi answer this.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I'm going to let Didi answer this and then we'll...
No, it's interesting to hear what Azrin have said, but to me, working with the community during the past 2 years, during COVID, is more challenging. Yeah, I mean, this is why our approach is a bit different, but we keep on continuing in reaching out by using WhatsApp and so on, or phone calls and so on. So that is why sometimes if they don't have condom with them or they finish the condom, they keep on calling us. So even during the MCO, that 10 kilometers, you see, but we managed to distribute the condom to them. So the amount of condom delivered is, like, for example, normally we give 6, but because of the MCO, so we increase the condom to 20 or what. So, so we don't have to travel.
more stop.
Yeah, more stop. You see, that is how it is. And of course, the calling thing. And of course, sometimes during that period of time, they say, oh, how can I do my for my test, for my HIV or for my STI? So we have, of course, during that period of MCO, we can still make appointment with our friendly doctors. You see? So the interesting thing, that is why, as I say, we transgender are very creative and innovative in ways of reaching out. So we have our own focal point, our focal point, our context, and so on. So how to spread, even using the media, as we say, Facebook or what, yeah. So this is very good for those who don't have phones or what. So we also have a different ways of reaching out. So it depends, that is the group that who you are reaching out. So to me, as long condoms are being given, they use it, and the right way, or having a KY or what, so it continues. If you're talking about the message, I will keep on telling them, you see, you need to do continuous. If you talk about awareness, you can't stop. You only need constantly to remind them. That is the message. Sometimes people tend to forget.
Education is by repetition.
Yeah. Even they
Yeah.
say like now we have PrEP, but then that's why, as I said earlier, when you talk about PrEP, I support PrEP, but not everybody is affordable to buy PrEP. So I will tell them there's still an option. Condom is quite cheap. If you are not affordable to use to buy PrEP, you can still use condom. You know, as long
Yep.
they protect themselves. That is why
Yep.
to learn to say no to people who doesn't want to use condom, say no to them is not easy. It takes times.
No.
You know, you need to skill yourself in how to say no. But once you are empowered, regardless you are women, you are MSM, you are TG, if you learn to say no, you can make the change. Even it start from the community itself.
I think that's a brilliant last word from Kartini. Kevin, I believe
Before
you
we
have a
go,
question.
yes,
Yeah,
before we
for
go,
Azrin.
as we mentioned earlier in the show, that everyone that watches us can actually win special condoms from Kata Condom, like from one condom actually. So out of all that flavor, right? We are talking about condom, and one thing that I up against AIDS and one condom have achieved brilliantly with the artworks and condom design. And now we talk about
I
flavor.
love the nasi lemak condom only because it's so
Oh
cute.
yes, exactly. So now we talk about. You know what? I'm gonna show it. If you show it, I'm gonna show mine too. So I'm gonna collection.
Yeah.
So
Okay lah, you got a lot lah.
I got a collection of it. Okay, so talk about the flavor, right? How many flavor are there? Have one condom achieved so far? Do you remember them?
Well, every year, if you want to talk about the localized flavors, yeah, that's really nice, Kartini. Those are our face mask covers, actually.
I love it.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's to protect your mask, whenever you makan and whatnot. But yeah, when it comes to flavors, of course, our localized flavors, we produce one localized flavor every year. So the one,
Wow.
of course, yeah, Nigel mentioned just now, we had nasi lemak.
Nasi lemak.
Yeah, so we started off with durian in the first year, and then the following year we had nasi lemak, and then we had teh tarik kurang manis. So we always joke around. We say, "Oh, it's diabetic friendly because it's kurang manis," kind of thing. And then,
Bila makan pun kurang manis.
So if you're a sweet tooth, you can try a different flavor lah. So those are all localized flavors.
So basically, one condom is achieving like the kopitiam in your own home with condom flavor.
We are producing our own one condoms kopitiam, yeah.
Love it. Amazing.
Other sensational flavors, you can get them from our mixed pleasures. It's in the purple. The 12-piece pack is purple. The small one is 3-piece. But the flavors are in the 12-piece pack lah. So that one, there's a randomized flavor of bubblegum, banana split, tropical flavors and whatnot. So we have very unique taste. It's not just straightforward chocolate. It's not just strawberry. It's chocolate strawberry, guys. So it's a bit more sensational.
Fancy, very swish. So
It should be
out of
just
all that
heavenly
flavor,
chocolate durian.
no, thank you. Okay, so out of all that flavor, which flavor is the most popular one?
Our localized flavor, I would say, we've actually had a lot of demand, funnily enough, for our own nasi lemak.
Oh, okay. So people do like nasi lemak during sex.
Yes.
So not only do we like to eat it, we like to eat it.
Yes.
And you like taste it.
Nasi lemak, it has been recently, I think, on social media, nasi lemak has been dubbed our national dish. So we always tell people it's our national dish, but unfortunately, it was a limited edition. All our localized flavors are limited edition while stocks last. So that was a couple years ago, yeah.
Hey, okay, one more question. So you said that you only release once a year, and what particular day should people look up for if they wanted to, collection for a special collection from one condom?
Well, if we're looking
Like
at
stamp collecting like that.
if we're looking at local flavors, we try and we try and work towards Malaysia Day, or a significant days for Malaysians in general lah. So because the whole idea is to really symbolize what is a Malaysian flavor. So we've had a lot of people who write in and say, oh, can you make char kway teow or bak kut teh or budu? Some people actually wrote in budu, and we've actually got quite a bit of requests for like gulai, like gulai with chicken and the santan and all that. We're like, okay, Malaysians must be very hungry people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we Malaysians are known for our variety of food, and we grew up with it. You know what I mean? And why not bring that to that as well?
Just thinking, why don't you just have sex and then go and eat the damn goulash?
Yeah.
So you know
So,
what? I think.
sorry,
Sorry, go.
No,
Yeah,
it's
go ahead,
interesting because sometimes even they use different kind of name, or sometimes it's good. It's like a joke, but sometimes because of that, what do you call, nama-nama yang melucukan, it's interesting because they want to find out apa yang
It
dikatakan.
makes it easier to talk about.
Yes, yeah, and they say, betul kedurian sedap ke? Is it because of the smell or because of what? Sometimes we have to see on that angle. Yeah, it's true because sometimes they have the Coca-Cola. Macam mana rasa kondom ada Coca-Cola or whatever, because they keep talking about it, even ada ke kondom Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
So they talk about the condom indirectly. Yeah.
Yeah, it encourages open
Yeah.
conversations.
Yes.
I think it's great.
I think great. Exactly. Condoms should be fun, and I love what one column really does really well with the artwork that they put in there and the collaboration they did.
I love the art pieces that the university students made.
Yes.
I love strawberry condom.
Yes.
I love strawberry condom. I love strawberry.
I have a few here. These are all made by students. All these designs.
I remember those. I remember those. I've got a tub of those.
Yeah. So, if it encourages, it's basically a way to, encourage a conversation surrounding sexual health. So, of course, it's a very sensitive and taboo topic to talk about. So this is our way of approaching it at a different angle, at a different level. And,
I think it's very clever.
Yeah, it makes people more comfortable to talk about it. So we're like,
it relaxes people when you can make them laugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think that
about Masilama in bed.
Yeah, and I think sex is a natural thing, and it should be something that you can talk about and laugh about with your loved ones. Yeah, everyone does it. It's just we don't talk about it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, like sex, like I said, it to be safe. It's sacred, but it shouldn't be a secret. Like especially amongst couples,
absolutely,
open conversation is important. If you're not sharing with your partner what you want or how you like it, you'll never get it the same. You need to open up for yourself. So, and I just want to say thank you very much.
No, before you say, Kevin,
yes.
I just want to say I hope Carex can advocate for condom vending machine, because sometimes not everybody, young people age 15 above can buy condoms at 7-Eleven. Sometimes to put at the right place, so they can get it without rasa malu or what. You see, I think that should be done. Because but of course, as we said, not only we have this condom vending machine, we also have a helpline and so on, counseling line. So that is good for the condom. We can say, even if you use condom, you can still enjoy, have your pleasure. That's it.
Actually, condom vending machines are available overseas. Why aren't they available here? I've always wondered that.
We have it before.
Yeah, we've had it before. Katini is right. We have had it before, but we are not allowed to have them anymore because of authorities, and because sometimes depending on where the vending machines are placed, those
the location
become, those areas will become hotspots for, authorities to come raid, and then it becomes a whole issue, and then it becomes a legal issue and whatnot. So all these premise owners, they want to avoid all these conflicts with the local authorities. So that's why they don't allow it anymore. So that's why we couldn't do it. We have actually wanted to put some vending machines at a couple of places, but because of authorities and because of, sometimes premise owners and whatnot, they don't allow it. So it's one of those things that, it's the challenge that we're still having here in Malaysia, because again, there's that misconception where that total misconception. If you're using a condom, it means you are encouraging sex. But they're not understanding using a condom, it means you want to have safe sex. It's different.
Yeah, there's always a difference between like the understanding. What are we here for? We are teaching people safe sex. We're not teaching people. I mean, there are already channel for that. Teaching people sex. Already enough channel for that. And we don't need that. We're here to teach about safe sex. It's completely different concept. It's nothing to do with the concept of like teaching people wanted to it. It's more so like how to protect themselves while engaging and exploring it. So I just want to say that. Thank you for bringing that up. So, okay.
Yay!
So anyway, before we end the show, I just want to say that you can actually go back and rewind things that we have talked about. It's live on Facebook, it's live on YouTube as well. So to win that, we have some special prize to give away tonight. So it's actually very simple. So we have asked a question. So the question is that name 2 flavors that we have spoken about for one condom tonight. And then what you need to do is that I'll share a link under the top comment later. Go to that. Actually, you can see it under the Kakak condom at @8_NY. And then on the first post, there is a Kakak condoms famous signature little emoji. So they can just go there and then type in your answer, and we'll basically pick a winner from there. All right. So and that is your chance to win one condom tonight. So.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that, Kevin. I'm going to repeat that, yeah. So everyone, please comment on either Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram Live. Two flavors of condoms that have been discussed tonight from one condom. And of course, Karex Berhad, Malaysia's world's largest manufacturer of condoms. Is that correct, Azrin?
Yeah, we are the world's largest condom maker.
Yep. So, and here in Malaysia, I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
Malaysia boleh.
Remember.
Malaysia boleh, yeah, exactly. Malaysia boleh.
So remember to go over Kakak Condoms IG account, and then go there and post your comments, and then we'll pick a winner from there as well. So for those you can also comment here. We'll basically pick the winner and then we'll basically arrange the arrangement with you. So. And I just want to add that. So Nigel, is anything that you'd like to? I just want to ask you about is any closing thought from you?
Well, I think sexual education needs to be upped. I've got a story actually, if I can close with that. A friend of mine, this was about 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, and a friend of mine was starting out as a doctor up in Terengganu. And basically this couple used to come in every 2 or 3 months, and the wife would complain of a huge pain in her abdomen. Okay. And so the doctor was asking them, so what do you think causes pain? What have you eaten? That sort of thing. Eventually it turned out that the husband and the wife didn't know where to put his penis when they were having sex, and they were trying for a baby. So every couple, she was deathly afraid of sex because it was also always so painful. So it turned out that the husband was actually making love to her navel. And not a joker. So he was actually bruising and puncturing her navel every 2 or 3 months. And that is the price of ignorance. That is the price of the lack of education. So this poor girl, okay, until the doctor actually figured this out, was going through hell whenever she tried to make love to her husband. So it's it's funny, but it's also really, really sad. And I think it's a huge indictment on our sexual education. So, yeah. So get educated, go out and find sources if you don't have it. All right. I get that parents and all that might not be always the best because there's always so much shame attached to it. But, ask people like Pink Triangle, ask Kartini's organization. Carrick's also obviously has a forum. So One Condom actually has a forum. So maybe you guys should share your handles so that people can get in touch with you.
Actually, I already shared the handles. I already shared the handles on the top common area. So please feel free to go and give us a quick follow, and then also win the prize tonight. And I also want to say that thank you, Kartini. Thank you, Condoms. And thank you, Nigel, for really.
And thank you, Dr. Ray, as well. Unfortunately, thank you, Dr. Ray. Unfortunately, I think Dr. Ray as well, because unfortunately, I think our internet eventually started to cooperate, but at the beginning was really hard. So thank you for sticking with us, everyone.
But then Dr. Ray actually back channeled me. She couldn't join because the internet was getting really bad and it was raining in her area. So I also just want to share out some information out there. So if you actually go to our IG, Germ Test PT Foundation, you can we're actually providing free testing as well. There's many organizations that you can reach out to us to, and we can actually refer you to the organization that cater to your need as well. Whether it's men, women, your trans community, whatever community it is, we are here to help. Okay, you're not alone. There's so much people out there. We are here to help you. Any information that you need, we just basically don't be afraid and don't be shy to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. We are here to help you. And if you need to find out more about condom, you can basically go to Kaka Condoms at art_MY to perhaps check out with her and ask her questions that you needed to know. Perhaps she can help you with that. And Nigel, you can also follow Nigel at Nigel Joy at Facebook, IG, Twitters, YouTube. And so fabulous Nigel's always, give us the joy that he can provide. And also Kartini. Kartini is the best person to talk to about rights, LGBTQ rights. And if you needed to reach out to Kartini, how can we reach out to you, Kartini?
You can either call me on 019-603-1699. I'm open to any questions. Everything is private and confidential. You can talk anything to me. As a mama will advise you in the right information and facts.
There you go.
Thank you, Mama Tini.
Out there, you will hear it. So if you do need assistance or information about anything, you can actually check out Kartini. She can give you some insight or anything that you might need. So with that, I just want to say thank you very much, and I just want to say thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. And I have a video from Carrick's actually on condom. Is their promotion. I just want to show them, and also we're going to show a video of actually I reached out to somebody to help to test out their condom, and so we're going to show that video as well after this. So please stay tuned, and thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Right, guys, but I want to watch the video. Play.
No, you can save it, watch it, no problem. I'm going to put it on right now. So here we go. And then another one. Well, here we go. Oops, sorry. Okay, so
Ooh.
I do have another video. Just give me a minute. So I'm gonna put it up. So actually, as a review that I have collaborated with somebody, and that they actually help us to put out a review of Carrick's latest condom. So let me just pull up a screen and share with you guys. So with that, after the video, we are going to cut and we're going to end the broadcast for tonight. So I just want to say thank you very much again for tuning in, and I will see you guys soon. And with that, I'm going to just don't worry, we'll do that very, very soon. Hold on.
God, Sini, you're really the queen, way.
咁即係話是話，我真係好耐冇試過拍開箱片啦。係冇錯，講明先啊，呢個係一個開箱片嚟嘅，係開啲乜嘢咧？係大家應該好熟悉呢個牌子㗎啦嚇，就係 One Condom 啦。多謝 One Condom Malaysia 寄咗呢拍 condom 俾我咧嚟做開箱片嘅，事不宜遲啦，開嚟睇下先。係啦，個包裝就係咁樣啦，有啲嘢咁啦，跟住有啲卡啦，跟住咧，其實咧今次要拍呢個開箱片咧，佢哋出咗個新口味嗱。講到口味呢樣嘢咧，好多人都好重口味噶嘛。今次咧，佢哋就有一個咖喱口味嘅，我即刻開俾大家聞下睇先。我聞啦，梗係即刻事不宜遲，開嚟睇下先。呢鋪啊坑啊，真係人單口味。呢度哎呀，就寫住 more than one ingredients， 叫做 one 人單口味嘅。我嚟啦。咦？哇！真係 rendang 味嘅喎，唔知試係點嘅咧？會唔會辣嘅咧？即刻試下先。嗱，咁咧呢個就係我個玩具啦嚇，我好怕醜個玩具俾人睇咗先。嗱，咁基於 MCO 期間咧，即係好多人冇得出去搏嘢啊嘛，咁即係唯有靠呢啲嘅啫咯。咁啊，死啦！通常都係人哋自己帶，我好少幫人帶嘅。就哇，咁就入咗去啦，真係好容易噶。好，我試下先。咁咧，陣間我再俾大家知道試咗個感覺係咪辣辣地嘅。気持ちyeah fuck 真係都幾爽下噶嚇，來真係玩啲咁嘅嘢真係辛苦晒你啦，寶貝。咁其實咧，雖然就話佢叫做溫潤丹口味嘅揼揼，就最緊要嘅就係佢好滑啊，唔辣，兼且係好滑，所以咧都唔使好多料就係咯，就入到去嘅，真係。哇！回味中啊，仲有兩隻，我應該陣間就用咗去㗎啦。嗱，如果大家想試下呢個溫潤丹口味嘅 condom 嘅話咧，大家想買嘅話，可以去到佢哋嘅 website 啦，又或者 follow 佢哋嘅 IG 叫做 onecondom.my 嗰度問一問，邊度有得賣啊，同埋價錢係幾多嘅嚇。好啦，咁我就去再 continue 啦咪真係。幾爽下噶，多謝大家收睇呢個 video 啦嚇，有機會嘅話再同大家分享下其他嘅嗰啲咁嘅嘢啦嚇，拜拜。